Hello everybody, we're back and now we have sound for everyone. Hello Leah, hello Chris, hello Chez. So happy to have you here. We just overcame some technical issues. So well done everybody. We've just held the first Interweaved producer challenge and I received 48 submissions to from 48 different producers from around the world. We have people from some American producers, people from Latin America, Europe, Middle East. I mean, I've been pretty overwhelmed. New Zealand as well. So literally like four corners, and North Africa as well. So yeah, it's been pretty amazing. For everybody who's still waiting for Delano, he's going to be coming a bit later. He just had a hospital appointment actually that happened at the wrong time. So yeah, hope he's well. But he'll be giving me his votes as well. So we'll be able to crown the winner. But yeah, first of all, how are you guys doing? How are you doing, Leah?
I'm fine. Really happy to be here, and I'm really impatient to hear the music.
Cool. What about you, Chris? What's up? How was your day?
Oh, good, man. Yeah, it was pretty tough. I had a tattoo appointment today, so just got back from that.
Did you?
Basically the whole day digging for records, yeah.
Lovely. What about you, Chez?
I've just been traveling, so I'm, yeah, I went from the airplane this morning at 6 o'clock straight into the studio and to just about a half hour ago. So, wow. I'm running off the backup battery. I'm good.
Good. Well,
I'm happy I didn't miss it because I was afraid. I was going to say, oh my God, I can't let you down. But I had to go through some journey.
Well, I'm glad you're here. So just to remind everybody, in this challenge, we set a few rules. And one of the rules was that I wanted people to come up with an intro. That's actually an idea that Chris gave to me as we were discussing what we could give as a little things for people to try to challenge themselves a bit. And actually a lot of people have been struggling, telling me, oh, what should I do? What do you mean by intro? It kind of like threw them off a bit. And I kind of told them, well, the intro is not going to be just muting elements slowly until it builds into your track. Some people, quite a few people have done that. But yeah, for me, the intro had to be, something that was maybe different from the track or was a point to make at the beginning of the track to do something creative. It was an opportunity to do something creative at the beginning of the track, basically. So that was one of the conditions. The other condition was that I wanted people to use vocals. So that could have been sung or spoken or a sample, but basically make use of vocal within their tracks. So that was it. And the other one was that it had to be a house track and they couldn't do something more than 6 minutes 30. So yeah, this was it. And yeah, we've been pretty overwhelmed with the results. And I think we should just get on and listen to the first track. So the first track is from Daniel Chavez.
It introduces you to what teenagers call the after-hours club. The clubs attract thousands of Chicago area young people. Some say they come looking for drugs, dirty dancing, and pounding techno music. ABC 7 investigative reporter Chuck Gowdy joins us now with an eye-opening story.
John, Diane, you both will remember years ago some community-minded TV stations across the country would broadcast the question, it's 10 p.m., do you know where your children are? Well, things have changed. Today the question from parents is, it's 5 a.m., do you know where your children are?
say listen to how many minutes of it?
All right, everybody, we are back, and this was the first track. This one, the track from Daniel Chavez from New York. How are we feeling about this track, guys?
For me, it's really smooth and deep. And I would like to know if there is a break or.
I don't think there is a huge break actually in this track.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do, I think this is gonna do the best. Before we give our individual feedback, I'm gonna ask you for a score between 1 to 10, and at the end we're gonna add up the scores and we're gonna be able to decide who had the most scores, and we'll crown the winner. So Leah, before you give him your feedback, what score would you like to give? To Daniel.
You're bad with me. 7.
Okay, great. And tell me a little bit about the track, what you liked, and maybe it could be better.
For me, it's really deep and smooth, and I like the element, the bass, and it's what I like. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool, fair enough. Chris?
I would give this a 6.5. The intro was nice, but at some point I felt there was too much going on. I like that the chords were like building up with the volume and stuff, and when the beat loop came in, it was pretty clean. I loved the start of it, and then I was like, okay, the parts of the track are like smooth transitions, but I don't know, I missed a bit of excitement in like switch ups a bit. And where was the vocal actually? Was it just the intro vocal and that's it, or was there no vocal in the whole track?
Yeah, I think there were a little vocals sprinkled here and there in the track. They were not used as much, but yeah, he did the intro and he used some vocals. Chez?
I'm gonna give it a 5. But first of all, I love the energy. I think the energy is amazing. I really enjoyed the drum programming. I think, maybe, it wasn't probably completely clear as to the elements. Like, so he kind of gave you the intro and vocal at the same time, as opposed to kind of giving you an intro and then giving you vocals. So I didn't feel the challenge was actually met in that capacity, although it was some vocal used in it. But we have like a lot of track. And so if I had to just remember the track, the question is, would I remember the track? And then my other point would be is I would have probably just come from the drum into the chord, because I think that was a little focus. I think the keyboard before then, you kind of don't know where it's going to go, like it could have gone anywhere, and so, but then when the chord came in and what it's defined where it was trying to go. But I would give it a 5.
Okay. All right, thank you. So I'm gonna give this an 8. I actually really enjoyed this track. It has this kind of classic US deep house vibe, and I think he definitely nailed that. So kind of hit a chord with me, and for that reason I give it an 8. He respected. He did a little intro, and he used vocals even though he used it in the intro, and he still used it a little bit after. He didn't make a vocal track and use it like that, but I think he was quite smart in how he used it. So yeah, I think there's a lot of good points about it. I think the arrangement could be a little bit better, but still, I thought it was a really good effort. and for that reason, I'm gonna give him an 8, and I'm gonna wait to see what Delano says, and then we'll add up that score. But yeah, thanks. I think it's a good start to this little competition. So the next track now is going to be by Timmy P, who's from Milton Keynes. Some of you might be aware of who he is already. He's a fairly established underground producer. So yeah, let me start playing the track now, and we're gonna go. So let's go.
My name's Tom, and I've come here today to come clean about what I do for money. Basically, I use my mouth in strange ways in exchange for cash.
All right, everybody. This was our man, Timmy P. Cool, that one's pretty hot. I like it. Leah, your turn.
That's it, Leah. Go for
It's
it.
not always me, huh?
Oh, we'll change at the next one. We'll change at the next one.
Okay. There is something from two-step style, and from 2000 style with two-step touch like this. It's not really what I like. So, but if I think about production, it's yes, it's okay for me. But it's hard to judge for this one because yes, it's not really my taste. But you want to know you need a note now or
Yeah.
okay. Five.
Okay.
5 for me.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Chez, your turn.
I'm going to go with 5.5.
All right.
That's my number. I love the drive of the track to me, but and I think it made the Arturia, by creatively using vocals and giving me an intro as well. But I think focus to me, it was, I think it was very forceful dance track, more so than something that was easy, to listen to. I mean, that's, but again, I love the energy in it. For me, it's not always about the style, but to me, I try to look at it from an energy standpoint, because I think with some right arrangements and some right setting it up, it could be also amazing as well if the elements, were maybe used a little differently. But yeah, that's my point of view. But I like the energy again.
All right.
To drive.
Chris.
So I really like the intro, actually. It was really well done, and I think it was like at 15 seconds it's kind of switched already a little bit, so there was a nice tension building up towards like the first part where the beat came in. So then after 2 minutes I felt a bit I wouldn't say bored, but I was looking for something new, and for me it came when the strings came in. This is where I felt like everything was blending and like complementing each other well. And before that, it was just the dry chords. I don't know. I maybe cheese is not the right word, but I don't know. It didn't blend in for me. And when the strings came in, everything was more blending. So I would give this a 7.5.
Wicked. Okay, great. Well, I actually really like that track, and I'm gonna give this an 8.5. Because I think that because I think he really smashed the intro, and he really made really creative use of he really took the rules and he actually made a whole track using vocals in his background with a beatbox, which I thought was pretty good. And I think it does what it does pretty well. It slams. It's the kind of track that does what it needs to do, and it sounds pretty fat. And there's like this little chord in the beginning that plays like this little stab. I'm not like the biggest fan of it. I think it's, it could have be a bit better. It's not the strongest point. When the string pads come on, I think that adds, that elevates that track a little bit. It blends in well, like you said, Chris. And I thought, that brings it together. And overall, I think the arrangement is pretty dope. Like the way it builds, and it's a little bit maybe standard in the way that it could almost be a template, because it works a lot. So I still think it's pretty solid track. So I'm giving this an 8.5. And Chris, you said 7.5. Great. So awesome. Let's check the second one.
I think he made this with you in mind.
Yeah, but you know what?
I don't know. I can see you play this one.
Well,
I
could definitely play it for sure. Would I sign it is a little bit different, because I actually signed the track from Timmy. For Dungeon Meat, we have a really great track, and but you know how it is. We all have our taste, and I think for this track, it's not one I would have personally signed, but I'm sure a lot of people would play this and smash it, and have a great reaction on the dance floor, actually, because it's quite original with the beatbox and everything. I think it slams. So well done, Timmy.
So would you play it?
Yeah, I'd probably give it a go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
because I like the way you differentiate the difference between whether you would sign it or not. But,
I'm the same.
Okay. I was a little curious to know how that swung in terms of, like when you're listening to it, what are you listening for? Are you listening to it as the record exec, or are you listening to it as the music level, or are you listening to it as the DJ, or are you listening to it all? To come to your conclusion.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sometimes you can play maybe a track once or twice. Doesn't mean there's going to be a glue to your bag. That's a different story. So now the next submission is from Interdimensional Cable TV from Berlin, and you know him, Chez, because that's Christoph from Berlin, whom you've chosen to remix in the previous competition. So he's already won, actually, in another challenge that I did on Patreon with Chez. We were to pick somebody that we wanted to remix, and this person was one of Chez's choices. So let's play it, and yeah, let's go.
Very mature for Chris.
All right, everybody. This was Interdimensional Cable TV. So this time we're gonna start with you, Chez. What did you think about this track?
Okay, so I gave it an 8. I think it met the challenge. I thought it was deep, and also love the fact that he gave it room to, if someone wanted to remix it, he gave you some room to do your own interpretation of it, which I think is good. I think that's kind of definitely on the way to nice writing. So this is more of a more composition than the other ones. I think prior to it, it gave me structure. It gave me the vocal hook. It gave me the intro, and it gave me song actually. So I give it an 8 for. And again, I love the energy. And for me, I don't want you to think that I'm not scoring high, not just to score high. It's just that now, we're in an age where so many people doing music that to stand out, you almost need to stand out, and sometimes I think this stands out more so than the other two, but I think sometimes, young producers have to be aware of being influenced by, certain tracks that have been current. You know what I mean? I can hear the influence, of some things in it, but that's just my opinion. But I like it.
All right, awesome, Chris.
I think I would give this a 6.5. Based on, I found the intro and stuff exciting. I was like, okay, nice, and it was nice and musical. But at some point, I felt like the sound of the piano, how it was played. It was a bit too easy. I always like to hear some, I don't know, to manipulate the sound a little bit. Like I heard some dazzling chords in the background, but that wasn't the hook for me. But at some point, I don't know, for my personal taste, I like to hear something that's not sounding so perfect, if you know what I mean. The same with the bass line. It's nice, but I think sometimes it's nice when it just really comes out, like it just has balls or something. And in this track, I just missed a little, I don't know, ballsy stuff. I don't know how to say it in a different way, but I've heard many of these kind of tracks, and I made them myself as well. And I always struggled at the start as well to make it sound like more, I don't know, analog kind of thing. That's what I missed in this track. But I'm sure that when the guy has more time, he can add more layers into this track for sure.
Yeah, awesome. And okay, so 6.5, Leah.
For me, it's I like the drum, I like the bass line. It's I really appreciate the problem for me. It's between there is some drum, some bass from the past, and new element like a dreamy sound that I don't like a lot. And for me, there is some electro sound, but small touch of electro sound with house from the 90s. It's hard to find to understand his vision. For me, it's you need to find the balance between the style of today and the style of the past. And but I like also the energy and but yeah, for me there is some electro cheesy sound that I don't like.
Well, hold on a second. When you say electro, you mean electro à la française, l'électro, is that what you mean? Not electro, old school electro, right?
Not as cool. No, not at all. It's like a sound that you can listen in melodic deep house.
Yeah, okay, I see. Hear you.
You know, it's really difficult to explain. Really, it's a feeling. But I just want to focus on the positive things. For me, the drum programming, the bass line, all these kind of elements, the construction is cool. But yes, for me, there is some touch that I don't like, especially. But
okay, and what is your score?
For me, it's 6.
All right, 6. Fair enough. Great. Well, I actually quite like the track. I'm gonna give this an 8. And there's a lot of good things that I have to say about this track. In the sense, I like the feeling he's giving in the emotion. I think that's something that is, it gives you like a warm sort of feeling, and it's quite uplifting and soulful. And it kind of reminds me of Needs. The old Lars Barkunt work that he used to do in the 2000. I don't know if he's been inspired by that, but I think there's really good elements to it. Some of the problems I find in this track is that it's a little bit repetitive in the tones that he's using, and in the arrangement as well. So I feel like he's using like a kind of Rhodes piano, and he's using the same sound to do the different parts. To do different patterns, or to do the chopped up sort of like pattern in the middle and everything. And I think you should put more time into maybe layering sounds to create maybe a different texture, and having maybe just going deeper in sound design and adding more organic feel and more organic instruments to give it more depth and just more body, because everything is quite clean and almost Ableton-y, and the drums are quite snappy, but it still feels a bit thin. Even the bass line, as much as it's kind of a nice sound, it doesn't have much character, as Chris said. It's like it's almost like it should have like some reverb sometimes, just to bring it forward, or to give it more life. I just find that it's a little bit reserved and sort of like, you don't really have so many different sounds, so it does feel a little bit repetitive, because even though he's having a pretty decent structure and he's trying to have different parts, because he's using a lot of the same sounds, it doesn't feel like it's moving. I think there's a lot. It's a good effort. It's pretty well produced track, and for this reason I'm going to give it an 8. I don't know, I feel like based on what I've given before, I do want to kind of sort of stick to that.
Sammy, if I can add something, it's like based on what you said about repetitiveness in a track, I feel like if he listened to one of your aliases Ismo track, I think it's called Jacker. It has the same kind of feeling. It's really soulful, but in that sense, to say like, how can you make a Rhodes sound more fat and a bass sound more fat with less elements, and like have the journey and put like stuff in the background? If he listens to that track and has like a reference, I think he would like progress a lot. Okay,
well, you're very kind, Chris, but like I really can't listen to my old work like that personally, but I love that you love that track. But that and Needs, I think Needs is an amazing reference for any producer. Like they were like on top of their game in the 2000s. So you can check my stuff if you want, but also check Needs. So great, awesome, well done, Christophe. You did amazing. Can
I say one?
Go on, Chez, of course.
The one other thing I want to say to it as well is that this is a competition, and so I think that when in competition, I think that there should be a little higher standards, in terms of being constructively critical to the tracks, and then the other question is how many of these tracks can we hear, because I think one of the things about being able to make it in the producer world is being able to stand out. I think structure-wise he has his own feel, but I'm not sure if I've not heard a dozen, or more of this kind of sound. And even the keys, for that matter, and I guess I would expect, you go a little bit more intense, a little bit more intense, and then also maybe there's a time factor, as Chris said, maybe, with some more time, maybe revisiting it again at some point, not necessarily tomorrow, but, revisiting through, and then he could probably see, what some adjustments that he can possibly make in making it competition ready.
Oh, yeah. I think, a lot of what we're doing now in terms of feedback is definitely going to, hopefully they can take this on board and get inspiration from what we say, we are going to be critical and a bit difficult, but nonetheless, thanks for doing this in 14 days as well. I know a lot of you have been under the stress to produce something, so hopefully with some more time you can turn these decent pieces into something even better. So the next one that we're going to listen to, his name is Munky Fike, Funky Mike, from Bregenz, Austria. And we're going to check him out right now.
love Chicago because Chicago is the home, it's the hub of house music, and it still goes on. It still, you know, got good things going on and stuff, but it also changed too. And every other country and everybody else, they know where house music comes from.
All right, everybody, this was Munky Fike. Chris, your turn.
I would give this a 6. For me, the time that we live now, just listening to the overall track, I think the intro was cool, but for me, it wasn't something fresh. But how we used like the vocal chops and some certain sounds, it has had a nice like question-answer feeling. But yeah, if I have to listen like as the 4th track now, so I had a better listen at the other 3 just yet, so I give this a 6.
Okay, awesome, thank you. Leah, what did you think about this track?
Oh, I give you 7 for me.
Yeah.
For me, it's a good house track. For me, it's like a dub. It's really easy to play and to keep the energy. It missed something from the soul, I think. So it's a good production with a good element, and but it missed just yes. I like also the effect with the vinyl in the beginning. This kind of touch. So yes, I confirm 7 for me.
Awesome, Chez.
Probably in '93, I would have probably thought this was hot. I think that I enjoy the energy of it. I enjoy the sound of it. But I've heard it before. I've heard it before. I think, in this day and age, and as Chris was saying, in this time and age, it's great to be able to get inspirations from other eras of music. But I think when it sounds too much like an era of music, to me, it kind of takes away the energy and innovation of today. Like if I was working with stock sounds, that's what it would give me. And I think in all the tracks, I really didn't hear much editing their own sound. I think that was, to me, is also an issue, is that a lot of it sounds like presets, and presets that we've heard so many times before. And so I'm not a fan of that. So I'm going to give it a 6 as well. But again, I thought the energy was fantastic. I would love to see what he would do on some other songs or some other parts of a record and give his energy. I would be curious to see what that sounds like.
Great. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give this track. I'm gonna give this track a 6 as well, because although it's hitting all the right boxes in terms of the sound of 94, it just sounds like it's just an okay old school house record. There's nothing wrong with it, but it does feel like it's from a certain time. It doesn't have anything timeless to it, and it's like I do like to play some old tracks, but I guess I'm always a bit more like leaning towards timeless tracks. So even if it was produced in the 90s, I don't really want to know that it's telling me, oh, this is definitely a 94 track. And in this case, it just says everything. So I don't have as much surprise. I almost feel like I heard it before. But otherwise, I still think it's a good track. Will people on the dance floor realize if it's old or new? They know. They probably think it's an old track, and it probably stand up pretty well against some other ones. But yeah. For that reason, I think I'm just going to give it a 6. He used the vocals and he had a little bit of an intro. I think overall it's good. It's a good job. But yeah, it's going to be a 6 for me. So thank you, Munky Fike. Thanks for representing the old school sound. Appreciate that as well. I've been there. I love it. And but I think at the moment, that's my final verdict. Hello, the cat of Leah.
Yes.
What's his name?
Sorry, you're with the.
Okay, come on, what's his name? Cherry?
Cherry.
Yeah. Okay, lovely. All right, the next track is by Incus. Incus He's from Cardiff, and he actually won the dungeon. He was selected as by Tristan and I in the previous dungeon meet competition. He did a pretty nice little deep track and bumpy in though. And yeah, let's hear what he's got in store for us. Incus, let's go.
Hey yo, what happened to the track, man? Hey yo, the drum machine is broke, man. The drum machine is broke? How we gonna make this song if the drum machine broke? Check it out though, check it out, I was thinking, listen to this. Alright, maybe we could just take it back to the old days and I just do a little beat. Days and I just do a little beat. What happened to the track, man? Hey yo, the drum machine is broke. The drum machine is broke? How we gonna make this song if the drum machine broke? Check it out though, check it out, I was thinking, check it. Listen to this. Alright. Maybe we could just take it back to the old days and I just do a little beat.
All right. Cool. Incus with the weighty beats. All right, let's go. I'm gonna start this one because I always ask you guys to start, so I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna give this in relation to what I've given before, and I kind of have to like think like that. I'm gonna give this a 7. I think this so far has probably got maybe the best drop in the tracks that I've heard so far. I really like how he has the vocal and how he has this sort of reverse sound, and then it just hits with like a different bass line. It's pretty hefty. I really like that. I think that will work really well. He's got the intro. I like what he used as a sample. So he's got vocals in there. The only thing I'm not really feeling is that sound that he's using as a pad. I feel like I've been using this preset on the FM7 synth since like I've started producing. So I just can't hear it. It's like a fifth sort of like preset, and I've never really enjoyed it. I don't think it's hitting the spot for me in terms of the kind of pattern it's doing. It feels like I've heard this many times trying to come up with something, and whenever I've kind of hitting those notes, I feel like I'm definitely need to do something better. So I didn't really connect with that. However, I think he's got a pretty heavy beat. The sound is pretty good, but I felt like I'm giving a 7 for the chunk and the beat, and then actually he followed a lot of the good instructions. So this is my verdicts. Leah, your turn.
The intro is really good. For me, I really like the intro, and for me, the choice of the sound also is there is no mistake. Sounds good, and there is a nice construction. So for me, it's 7.
All right. Chris, your turn.
This track reminds me of the time in, I think it was like 2014, 15, when the drill, Local Lead and stuff made like these hefty bangers with the spin, the final scratch in front of the drop and stuff. And I think it's something that can be done again. So I find that really interesting again to hear. And I agree, the beat and the bass, the low end is really nice. And I also agree with Sam, with you, that the sound of the chord, it's a bit boring after a while. And
it's a shame. It's a shame that he's using this sound, and it could be better. I think the track could be better if he didn't do that.
Yeah, exactly. And what I personally always like is to think like, when I make a record, is okay, how can I get the attention, keep the attention going from a listener or a dancer on the dance floor or whatever you listen. And I feel like for me it works when I think in like a hip hop arrangement, like, okay, I have like a verse and like something that comes after when you don't use that sound, so it's like, okay, part 1, part 2, and maybe a part 3 where you maybe combine it or something. And I miss that in this track, that it's like something that's just, I don't know, switching up a little bit, not just with the drop, but also with the musical elements. So for me, this track, I would give it a 6.5.
Okay. Chez.
Okay, and I must say that, I think he's got some good ingredients for sure in it. I love some of the ingredients in it for me. But one of the things I would just probably say to producers, period, because for me, I could spend a whole 2 days actually just going through sounds. And I think sound is really important, and the editing factor of sound is important. I think you can have a good melody but the wrong sound. I think that what it seems like I'm hearing is a lot of stock. I'm hearing a lot of stock sounds, and I would just urge actually, any inspiring producer is really to spend time going through even the presets and seeing what you can edit and tweak it so that it becomes your sound. Because I think that that's also an attitude, and it's a trademark for your own sound. And we all know that no man will discover the same sound. My hands move different than the next man. So if I'm tweaking something, a sound, to get what makes it feel good for me, and also I'm also thinking, does it sound like anything else I heard? So I think that a lot of times, and on a lot of tracks that we've heard so far, I'm kind of getting that sense. That nobody's really spending time going through plugins, modules, going through sounds, because again, if you're just putting something together and say, oh, this sounds good. Yes, from a hearing standpoint, sounds good. I think he's got a really couple of good elements. To me, it doesn't get exciting. To me, it's about 2 minutes into the track, and I can see it probably going somewhere. But again, I think it's also a sound factor, and I really would urge more producers to spend time going to find your own sound. I mean, because we're all using sample sounds for sure. The keyboards are sample sounds, but I think that to go in and customize it, I think to me can bring a whole nother personality to the track. Like I can probably take the same MIDI to this track and get a whole nother track out of it, and probably 2 tracks for that matter, just by not looking into the box, not being in the box, so that's my suggestion. And I didn't know if I gave it a score, but I'm torn. I'm torn between 6.5 and 7. So
675.
So no, I'll give it 6.75 for me because again. I think there's a couple of great ingredients.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I think the intro, the vocal with the drum machine. I haven't really heard that one before, and it's pretty sick. And I also think he's got a pretty great, surprising drop, which is always, I think he understands how things work. So yeah, and in 14 days, with our feedback, I'm sure he can elevate this track even more. So thank you, Incus.
Yeah, I feel like Chez hits the spot with this because when I look back on my own kind of experience in this, you are more satisfied at the start when you have like a certain sample that you found. You're like, oh, this is amazing, and at some point you just feel like after a few years you feel like it's different when you like tweak a sound. You take time to make a sound right, and that's I think Chez really hits the spot there. It's like you take more time in adjusting a sound and make it your own. Maybe layer it. That's what I usually do now with sounds, like layer. Like duplicate a sound and just in the same melody kind of MIDI and just layer stuff, and then it's just a base of volumes and stuff. And I think that's the thing with what you can do nowadays is it's so accessible. Like you can have 20 plugins and they all have the similar kind of sound, so it's so easy to make a sound,
Yeah,
with all the presets.
Definitely, and it's a lot easier to tweak as well than it used to be. I mean, if you had an analog synth, but when you had this digital synth back in the days, it was very hard to program. So now you kind of have no excuse to keep a sound exactly as it is. So all right, wicked. Thanks everybody. The next one is from Robert Cecil. He's from Coleraine in Ireland, in Northern Ireland, and we're going to check his tune right now.
We keep it grimy. We keep it grimy.
This should be played at a high volume, preferably in a residential area.
preparing the sound.
All right, everybody. This was Robert Cecil from Coleraine, Ireland. All right. Let's go, Leah.
For me, it's really too much. It's really too repetitive. It's yes. It's after 2 minutes, it's a little bit boring. It's I'm sorry. Yes, I don't feel it. This one, I don't feel it. It's just my feeling. Yes, it's. What can I say? Yes, it's for me. This is really hard because there are. Yes, it's like a dub, but it's a dub. But yes, too repetitive for me, and there is no the special spirit. Yeah,
Fair enough.
It's yes, it's 4.
4. All right, cool. Our first 4. Chez, let's go. Let's go, baby.
I'll have to agree with you. You know, at some point it was boring for me. Again, I mean, I don't know. I want to be very constructive. There's a lot of styles of music out in the world, and I think that, you know, when everything begins to sound like it's in one room, to me, it makes me wonder, you know, where the influences are coming from. You know, because there's a lot of dynamic music out here. There's a lot of dynamic tracks out here. But in all of the tracks we've heard, I always feel like all of them were kind of locked in the same, like, you know, you could have pulled them from the same house, you know. And I just want to add and just say, I think it's about really spending time to find something that stands out, you know, to me. I think stand out is good. I think, you know, a lot of stuff is safe tracks, I think, you know, very safe, very like, you know, but not competition worthy to me. Competition worthy would suggest to me that you're pulling out your best, the best, you know, because you have something to say and something to prove.
Oh, really?
So I'm going to give it. Did I give it a score? 7.
Sorry, you just broke up. You just broke for a second. We lost you. Shit. Just tell us your score.
Sorry. I'm going to go with 4.75.
4.75. All right. I'm going to give it, before Chris goes, I'm going to chime in. I'm going to give this a 5. The reason I'm giving this a 5, first of all, I know Robert. Robert is actually a very good producer who's quite versatile, and I know he likes also to try himself to like the rawer side of house music, and I feel like he's still learning in that department, let's say. But I know what he's capable of, so I'm not actually going to that. But for this track, I feel like it's quite messy. It doesn't have much weight, although he's trying to use sound that are quite distorted and 12 beats and all that. You can hear where he's coming from, but I think he's quite confused. The sounds are layered in a way where it's harmonically not really working. And you know, he's trying to be stripped down and raw, but at the same time, there's too much things happening, and it's just not really working, and it's quite repetitive, and it's a bit heavy-handed, and yeah, in that sense, I think instead of being like raw and really sparse and do something edgy, it tried to do something, but it didn't quite get it, and it ended up giving something that's a bit muddy and not really. No, I don't think he that's his best work in this matter. And the intro was pretty cool, but yeah, I think there's still things that are a bit makes the whole track drag. The track is a bit draggy, and it's a bit confusing, and it's unfortunately it's not going to be for this competition for me anyway. So I'm gonna give this a 5. But thanks anyway, Robert. Thanks so much for entering, brother. Chris.
I have to agree. In terms of how are you arranging a track, I'm thinking back to artists like Azuni or Washerman. In terms of getting a raw sounding track with really not so many elements, and I think if he is looking up for one of those two artists and just scrolls through like the catalog that they have, I think he could have some inspiration of it, because I agree with all of you that the track was a bit too much for the ears. It's sometimes nice to have like the question and answer going with a little space in between, so there's like it's breathing, and this track wasn't breathing, so I'm giving this a 5.
All right, so we have 4, 475, 5, and 5. All right, thank you, Robert. Cheers, buddy. All right, the next one is Home Team. Is from Appleton, USA. Not sure where Appleton is. Do you know where Appleton is, Chez?
No, what is Appleton?
I know he's gonna let us know in the chat on Discord, and I'll tell you right after. So I'm going to Wisconsin. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Wisconsin represent.
Okay, my fault.
All right.
My fault. I don't even know some cities in Chicago and Illinois. It's okay, my fault.
All right, let's go, everybody. 1, 2, 3. We're going live.
It was nasty. They were sharp. Everything was like precise, man. The moves, the way they was thinking, and all of that. You know, the way how they all come as a family and they all go out together. You know, one brother, he might run off and get into something, and something might happen to him. And then his brothers is there to revenge his death or whatever. If somebody tried to flip on him or whatever. It's just the love, man, the love and the loyalty, and the way they was doing it, man. It was just so sharp, man. So sharp. It's like when you get into it, it's like just looking at reality on some. That's how I be. That's how I be. You know what I'm saying? Master killer. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think your Wu-Tang saw Candy Big Meat?
You can go to the beach and watch all the flicks, all the concrete flicks, all night, smoke bones and get drunk on and just lounge out. Give it to the boy in 2 seconds.
Loot, baby, you gotta get this loot. Remember back in the days, when everything was all smooth, it was like nigga one, guy.
You know what I'm saying? Master killer.
Dangerous.
You know what I'm saying?
You must think first before you move.
I don't know how y'all see it, but when it comes to the children, Wu-Tang is for the children. We teach the children.
All right, everybody. This was home team. Wisconsin represent. Cool, nice one. I'm gonna start this time because always asking you guys. I'm gonna give this track a 6.5 out of 10. There's some cool things in this track. I like the kung fu sounds. I like some of the ideas in there. I think they're pretty cool. Unfortunately, I think it's a little bit heavy-handed in the vocals. There's too much vocals. That's a problem. Like, you don't want to listen to tracks with too much spoken, like interview bits or bits from films and stuff scattering the track. That just doesn't. It's never worked. Like, I always feel like when I hear that, it tells me it feels a bit amateurish. So in that sense, I think it's just too much. I think it should be really reduced to what's necessary. The intro here and there 4 or 5 times in the track, you use something. I like the kung fu sounds. They're pretty dope. The groove is pretty cool. But it's a bit linear and nothing much happens. I think every time it drops, the pads come back and maybe break it up and add some more musical ideas. And I think you could do better with this track. But I think it's pretty good effort. I think there's potential in it. I'm going to give it a 6.5. Leah, your turn.
I would like to speak like as you. English. Sorry for my English.
Your English is great.
I would like to develop. No. When I listen to you, it just it's really good to hear your feeling and. But about this track, for me, it's a 6. Yes, because for me it's not. It's not boring. I agree with you about the voice. It's really there is too much. There is too much inside the track. I really totally agreed with your feedback about this track. So for me, it's 6. It's I have really the same vision of as you.
All right, thank you, Leah. Appreciate it. Chris.
Yeah, well, I agree, like what you said about certain sounds, repetitive. Like, okay, I've heard the Vox in like 8-bar and then coming back after the snare loop at the end. And what I like is when you have like a drum pattern is to maybe instead of making it 8-bar, make it 32 or even 64. So tiny little snappy snare stuff is just different every like half a minute, and that's what I think that this track could maybe make it more interesting in like terms of drums. Like just have some different stuff, like if I make a loop, I can maybe spend 2-3 hours nowadays on focusing on a real good loop and then heading towards the musical sounds, So I think I would give this a 6.
Chez.
I agree with Chris on this as well.
I know you like the.
I think if it was just going to be a drum track, I think it could be interesting. I think if it was just going to be a track, I think it was the one of all of them that gave me like a track, not a song, but like a track. But again, it gave me more of a filler, kind of energy. The energy is good in it for sure. And I think that any of us could play it if we grabbed it and we needed a record to play like immediately and we couldn't get our next tune together and we end up grabbing, oops, but we can play it and get away with it, I think for sure, because it has the energy in the track. But in terms of originality, in terms of something special, no, I don't hear it. And so for that reason, I'm going to have to give it a 6.
All right. So I'm going to write the scores right now. So it's 3 6s and a 6.5, if I understand correctly. Yeah, I think it's a good effort. A lot could be done to make it better, but definitely not a bad effort. So the next one, we've got 3 left. The next one is by Omar Fayyad. He's originally from Cairo in Egypt, and he is definitely a person to watch. He's already released some records. So let's check Omar's track right now.
Water is good. Nothing to do with it. Have some water. Wonder what it is. What is it? I get this. Just sugar.
Hey, what's good, people? This was Omar Fayyad from Cairo. Dope. All right. Let's give it up for Omar. Leah, you're starting.
Yeah, but for me, this is my 5. actually. I really appreciate how he developed. There is no cheesy sound. It's really, we feel something from him. You know, it's not something we can be, yes, cheesy or efficient, or there is really a deep atmosphere, and I really like it. For me, it's yes. For me, this is the best actually. So I give 8.
Wow, great. Well done. Well done, Leah. Thank you. I'm going to go next. I'm going to get next, and I'm actually going to give this track an 8.7. Actually, I really like it as well. I like that you know, he's not trying to make a club banger. He's not rushing anything. He understands the style. He knows how to take his time. Chez, can you unmute your... I can't hear him. I need to mute.
Sorry. I'm sorry, don't mute me.
So, yeah, I was saying that I like that he's taking his time and he understands the style. He's quite... It's quite classy. It sounds good. It's the kind of record you could play in podcasts and warming up, and
yes.
you know, it's definitely done by somebody who understands the genre, and you know, maybe some people could say that, okay, I wish more things are happening and things like that, but I think in this style, you want that sort of atmospheric, sort of like timeless, a bit like a painting. When you look at a painting, you can stare at it, it's just what it is. And I think in dubby tracks, usually the scene is set from the beginning. You don't really just start with the drums and then you add, and now you sort of like have the atmosphere, and maybe the beat weaves in and out, but really that's what I like about this. So yeah, I'm gonna give this a 8.7, and yeah, this is my score. Chris.
Wow, man, amazing track. This is the first track that I was like, wow, amazing intro. I had goosebumps now again when I talk about it, because I don't know, this sound of the pad, I don't know, you just feel it. I don't know how to describe it, but for me this is I already start with a number. It's a 9.5 for me. Intro is amazing. Every time when I thought, okay, he has to come with something, he brought me something that made me more excited. So when he came with the little steps, it wasn't so much in your face, but it was smooth. The sound was nice. It's not every synth that he uses like perfect. The bass line, amazing. He used little tiny notes. What I meant in the track before, like if you use the bass line, it doesn't have to be repetitive. It can be really subtle with just one note that just plays. I don't know. It just lifts the track a little bit. And yeah, man. 9.5 for me.
I appreciate it, man. So I'm just gonna go back. The reason I'm not giving this a 9 is because one of the only criticism I have for this track is that I think the bass could be even more fatter. It's like it does something that I want in terms of the dubby sound, but I feel like there's something about it that could be even better, or that I can hear anyway. So this is why I'm not giving this a 9. But nonetheless, I hit the spot.
You remember me a track from Azimuth, you know, the global communication space jazz. It's a remix from Azimuth and the global communication remix. And I love the way how he built the track. It's really yes. I feel the sensitivity. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a great balance. All right, Chez.
Yeah.
I have to say this was my favorite one of all the tracks. I have to agree with Chris 100%. For me, it was the only track with a great point of view. It showed sound restraint. It showed volume control. There was nothing forceful to me. It didn't make me want to do anything. And so it agreed with me. It was a good room. I think it was a good room, and it had some longevity to it. It had some longevity to it. It had some classicness, some timeless element, I think, to it, and how he arranged it, how he structured it. So I have to say, I'm going to give it 9.5 as well, because I think for me when we're talking about competition, this is what I want to see. I want to see this level and above. I want to see, originality he gave me. I didn't feel like I was listening to pre-patches. He gave me his own feel to it. And then he didn't make me want to dance. I love it when the producers don't force me to dance. The drums were nice where they needed to be. And although you might have thought the bass needed a little bit more, it's kind of hard to kind of get the full effect on, obviously headphones as well. But I have to say, I was pretty impressed in terms of, the structure and the producing element of the vibe. Yeah.
Wicked. Wow.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really
I would play it too as well.
Yeah.
And it's one of them tracks that you can set the mood in how you want to play it. Like I can open a set with it, I can close a set with it. If I'm feeling my oats, I can drop it in the middle of the set if I wanted to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of them tracks that didn't ward its way to a particular time of the night.
Yeah.
It wasn't saying peak, but you could, if you have energy, you could play it anytime.
Yes, there is really a strong vibe, and
Yeah. Definitely, it's definitely hypnotic, and then definitely from the beginning, you're like, it's sort of like hypnotizes you, like, yeah, definitely.
It draws you in, which is what most tracks didn't do.
Yeah.
Is that they kind of pulled you in. This one kind of drawed you in. You was like, okay, I'm with you, and I wanted to go all the way to the end because, like as Chris said, at some point when you wanted to know where he was moving, he took me where I thought he would take me, which was really good, I think, from a producer standpoint.
Definitely, I think he has a great sensibility, and you can hear it in the track and understanding of the genre and real underground, deep.
I was still head balancing when you turned the volume down.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. I'm still feeling great from listening to the track as well. So well done, Omar. Well done. All right. Two more tracks, guys. This is thank you so much for still being here, guys, because it's taking actually quite a lot of time. So we're talking a lot as well, but it's great. I hope you guys get some value from this. The next one, this track is by Bos Priester. He's from Utrecht, from Holland, and actually he won the he won the Deeper Stage, the first competition I did. I did some tracks on vinyl. It came out already, the vinyl, and he did a track on the digital release that's going to come out soon. And so yeah, let's check what Boss has been cooking for us right now. All right, everybody. This was Boss Priester from Utrecht. I'm gonna start with you, Chris.
Well, first of all, big up Boss. He's been sending me some music already for a couple of months, and I must say I really like this track. The bass line was really original. Again, I like that it has the breathiness in towards the whole track, how it like doesn't go on and on, so it like changes a bit. I also like that the sounds that he used. I think it was like some sort of acid. It sounded really quirky. For me, I like that. You know, so in like underground kind of feeling of a track, this one made me like, okay, yeah, I would definitely play this in like a basement, you know, and just raw. I would give this track an 8, a solid 8.
Cool. Well, I'm going to follow you on this, and I'm going to give him an 8 as well. I think I really like the track because he really worked hard on sound design. I feel like he's not really, going for just all your presets. He might have used presets, I don't know, but the way he's chosen things, I think he's still, giving us some sort of a lot of different influences, isn't it? He's got the house groove, but he's got some sort of progressive type sounds and some nice resonating, acidic sort of like feeling. So yeah, there's like a nice contrast. It's quite deep in terms of like the bass line, and I'm sure it would work pretty well in the club. And I think it's a really good effort. Sounds good. The arrangement's pretty good. So yeah, I'm giving this an 8. Chez.
This was cool. I really love the energy in it. Again, I hate to keep coming back to energy, but I really, really enjoy the energy in it. I think it's playable for sure. It has a kind of cross-reference sound, so it's not just in a room, as you said. It could be in a couple of rooms, which is always good, I think, for a record when it can be played in not just a specific room, but a couple of rooms. So that's what I also enjoyed about it. So I'll have to give it 8 as well.
All right, great. Thank you, Chez. Leah.
Yes, for me, yeah, I like really this track. It remember me a little bit like a Swilly vibe, this kind of 5 p.m. atmosphere with a groove and yes, I appreciate the production, and it's really, yes, there is some glue, some really nice element. Also, I like the small touch of acid sound. Remember me good old days. So for me, it will be 7.5.
Awesome, yeah, not too shabby, Boss. I think it's a solid piece of work. Could definitely, groove to this, and it feels fresh anyway. I think that's great. So well done, Boss. The last track is by South Shore Garage, and he's a bit of a favorite in the community. He won. He was my favorite track in the first competition, the Deeper States. He flipped the first choice sample that we heard so many times, yet it was still sounding fresh. Great beats. I also chose this track. He did a remix in the previous competition. That was a breakbeat remix, which was great. So yeah, let's check what he's been cooking for us. South Shore Garage. He's from Montreal. All right, let's go.
Together. We stay together. stay one of the we stay together.
Let's go, everybody. Okay, this was South Shore Garage, and I'm going to start with this one. Okay. Unfortunately, in this one, he went for a breakbeat track, and the rule was that he has to be a house track. So off the bat, that he's losing a lot of points, and because he went for a breakbeat track, the energy wasn't going to go the right way, and it's a shame because he's also very skilled at making house. My bad though, because I think I've said it everywhere that it was going to be a house track, and I think on the Discord in the rules I didn't put house in one of the rules, and maybe it's just so that, and he went for that. So yeah. But it's going to affect my judging for this. I think South Shore Garage is great. I like his sound. I like his choice of samples. He's very original. There's a lot to like in this track, and I think if it was a breaks type of competition, I would definitely have maybe graded it more. But yeah, he has great intro. He was using vocals, and there's a lot to love. But I can't give it as high as I want it to be, so I'm going to give him an 8 for this track. Although I think it might deserve more, but not with the criteria that we set. Chris, I know you're a big fan of South Shore Garage. Let me know what you thought about this track.
I mean, I didn't know it was going to be a breakbeat track. I was really hoping that was like a 4-to-the-floor beat. When I was listening to the intro, which was really dope. So in terms of intro, amazing. I was like, okay, waiting for what's gonna happen, and then, as you say, it turned out to be a breakbeat track. I wasn't really expecting it, to be honest, but the sounds he used, really original. I like the vocal chops that he used. So in terms of ticking boxes, he did tick boxes for me. And yeah, I just felt like if he used the 4-to-the-floor and maybe a different kind of bass line, yeah, he would be, I think the number 2 for me. But for this one, I would give it 7.5 because it wasn't a house track.
Yeah, I agree. When I started listening to it the first time, I didn't realize he was going to do a breakbeat track. and then I also felt things started dragging on a bit, and yeah, the energy wasn't also there for me. So, but yeah, I still think it's a good piece of work. Leah, what do you think?
Yes, I agreed also with you and Chris, because I really like the intro, and it sounds really good. So it's a great production. I don't like just the first break with the new keys. This is only the only thing that I don't like in this track. But if I think about this track globally, it's really a good track. So for me, it's 7.
Great. And Chez, you're going to give us the last verdict.
In my opinion, actually, this was like my second favorite track, actually, of all of them. And although he wasn't going by the house criteria, I cannot take the points away from him, because I think this is the kind of track that you can drop in the middle of the house set and people will love it. I think because of the surprise element that he gave us, which to me was kind of clever, although it wasn't in the genre as you suggested in the rules, but as a creator person, I thought it was clever. So I won't take points away from him because he wasn't house, because for me, I mean, how do we define house in terms of if it's just a 4 to the floor, or if it's just could be a good dance track, So for me,
it would have to have a bit of 4/4 for sure.
Okay, so yeah, but I love it because what I got was that invisible foot. I love it where the energy in it gave me that invisible foot. So as a club kid or dancer, I could feel that invisible foot. You know what I mean? And I like the fact that the movement in the track made you move a particular way. It makes you move a particular way, and it's one of them tracks I think you can drop in the middle of a house set and people will love it. So for that reason, I'm gonna give him an 8.5.
All right.
I'm gonna give him an 8.5 for it.
All right, great. So I think we have our winner basically, because out of all the scores I've been writing down, no one comes close to Omar, who had, if I will go back to this, he's got a 9 from you, Leah, he's got a 9.5 from you, Chris, 9.5 from Chez, and 8.7 from me. And I think, what I'm going to do with Delano, bless him, unfortunately, he was supposed to be part of this, but he was actually at hospital, so I wish him speedy recovery. He'll be back in the next panel. He'll do that for us. So I'm not even going to ask him for the scores, because in this case, Omar, can only be one winner, and Omar just stole the show really with in this competition. And I'm sure Delano would also love the track.
And I would like to, if you can send me the track.
I'm sure Omar is gonna send me a good WAV, and we'll share it to all of you. But yeah, congratulations, Omar. You really outdone yourself in this competition. I'm really proud of you. I had the pleasure to meet Omar already in the flesh. He's been a great supporter and in the community and an active member. So I'm very happy that you're winning today. You are winning actually some pretty cool gifts. You're winning the VC9 collection from Arturia, the whole set of plugins. You're also getting the whole collection of plugins from AlexKid, who's doing these Max for Life plugins on Ableton, which are great. And on top of that, you're going to get £50 to spend on samples on Nitelife Audio, which is run by Scott Diaz, and they're amazing samples, and I've been using them a lot. So congratulations. And I want to thank everybody who's tuned in today. I know the sound wasn't great for you guys live, but this is going to be perfect when I'm going to upload this tomorrow on YouTube, so it's going to live forever on YouTube. For everybody who's enjoyed this as well, I want to thank all of you guys to have come. We just went in the 2 hours mark, so thank you. Grateful for your time. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for your invitation, really. It was really great to share with all of you.
And thank you again. And I just want to share at the end that I think that for me, it wasn't a matter of saying who was good or bad. For me, it was calling everyone to a higher level in your attempt to produce music and to stay original, and to find your own voice in it, because I think that that's really most important in all. If there's an old saying that if I tried to fit in, who would stand out? And so I liked Omar because to me he stood out. He stood out because I think that it was his point of view. He didn't just give me a track. He just didn't give me dance. He gave me an interpretation, of his energy, and I thought that was really great, and I thought it was very transferable. So again, I just want to encourage everyone. I think everybody has some amazing energy. And I do hope that they take the notes, and the notes were, really spend some time on actually your sounds, spend some time on not trying to sound like everybody else or not trying to fit in, because I think that that's one of the things that has corrupted our business in the dance community, is that people think that tracks that does well, everything has to sound like it, or those tracks on Spotify who's getting most attention, that's what they are to mock their sound from, and I just disagree. I just think that the more you stick to your guns and believe in what you do, I think that there's some longevity in you.
Yeah,
that's my word.
First of all, Sammy, thanks for setting this up. I think it's great for the younger generation to be able to send music and get a listen like on YouTube, like a public kind of community. And I think that what you have been building the last, 2 years since you started since Corona, I think with the Interweaved community, I think it's great because to reflect on when I started, there wasn't something like this. So to get the people and get knowledge from especially you, who I have been admiring since I've been going out like 10 years ago. So to be able to give feedback, and I hope that the guys that have participated take the notes in a positive way, like we just listen and it's just a 3-minute listen, and sometimes feedback can be hard and it can be really, it's like something special for you, you're in your own basement, I don't know, in your room, in your bedroom, whatever you make the track, it's always really personal. So for how I can give some advice, never take the notes like too personal, but just think like, okay, what can I do better, and how can I get to the next level? And I think that's what this is all about, like your kind of school, like your community. It's amazing. Like I see a lot of young producers like Boss Priester and the South Shore Garage guy. I've been playing those records like a lot, and I think they've been learning a lot from you. So big up for that, man. It's like not everyone does that.
Definitely. Definitely. I want to thank you all, and also everybody who took participated and worked hard to deliver a track in 14 days. We got 48 tracks, and I'm actually going to sign a track that only had four votes, because it's not about the votes. I always feel like everything is so subjective. How many times you go in the record store and somebody gives you a big pile of records thinking, oh, you're gonna like this, and you listen to everything and you don't even get a record, you don't even get one record, because it's so subjective. It doesn't mean these records aren't good. And I think everybody who participated, if you didn't get a high score, doesn't mean your track wasn't good, because even in the previous competition, the track I chose to remix had very low votes, and I really connected with it, and maybe people didn't. And it's not about what everybody feels like, but in this competition, I'm allowing everybody to help a few people rise to the top. So that's all good. But I want to thank everybody, and I'm going to do more of these. This is the first time I'm allowing this to have feedback and judges like that. So we're going to do this more often. If you want to participate, you can join the Interweave community. You go on patreon.com/Brawther. So feel free to hit me up privately. Thank you, everybody. Big love, and I all wish you an excellent night. Big up to yourselves.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you.
Thanks, everybody.
See you soon.
Take care, Chris.
Take care, guys.
Okay, bye-bye.
Peace out.